Okay. Good evening, everybody. We're going to get this party rolling here. April 16th, public meeting, 6 p.m. I'm going to read the public meeting statement. Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been published in the Burlington County Times and Trenton Times on the 5th day of January 2025. Additionally, posted on the office official bulletin board of the Township of Pemberton on the 1st day of January 2025, and those wishing to be notified of changes to scheduled meetings were notified via email or regular mail. Would everybody please stand and help me respect the flag? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Dewey?
Here.
Mr. Harper?
Here.
Mr. Bianchini?
Here.
Mr. Doyle?
Here.
Mr. Ward?
Here. Thank you. The meeting is now called to order. Next up is on the agenda is closed session, resolution number 130, 2025, authorizing council to go into closed session. I don't believe we have anything for closed session. I'll answer for the solicitor. You said no. Perfect. No formal actions as necessary pursuant to closed sessions. We're rolling right along here, making record time. Number 6, public comments. Okay, the council's intention is to preserve the level of respect, courtesy, and civility required to successfully conduct public business. In this regard, the council should be addressed during public participation as a collective body and not individual members. In order to respect the speaker's time, council members will not engage in a dialogue or debate with the speaker. However, council members should feel free to ask the speaker a question or questions once recognized by the council president for purposes of clarification. Council members can offer comments on a speaker's remarks once the speaker has concluded his or her comments in their allotted 5-minute time frames. Seemed to happen and work out well. I'll just add a couple sentences to this last meeting. But if everybody do me a favor and look to your left and right, to your neighbors, say hi, shake a hand if you want to, right? There you go. Right? That way there, you know, what I don't want is bickering back and forth from the audience. Somebody comes up and wants to share 5 minutes. It's already nerve-wracking enough to come up to the dais. I know, I've been there. It makes you nervous. But give the people their 5 minutes of time. And if you disagree with them, you disagree with them. If you don't, you don't. Right? But we shouldn't have a, negative conversation back and forth. It's not conducive to how the meeting should be ran, and not conducive to how we should be neighbors to each other. Okay. So thank you very much for giving me that ability to say that. And when you do come up, please sign in, state your name, and we'll start you on 5 minutes. Who's up first? Marty Winger.
Leave early, Sometimes I'm on call, All right. Marty Graf-Wenger, Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Okay. All right, so good evening. I'm Marty Graf-Wenger, the president of the BMIA, which stands for the Browns Mills Improvement Association. And for those of you who may not know, we've been around since September 6, 1919, when our organization was founded to provide infrastructure for summer residents of Browns Mills. Over the past 106 years, we've remained committed to advocacy, community service, and fellowship. And for the low price of just $15 a year, you can also be a member. And this membership includes your entire family, making it a fantastic deal. Before diving into our upcoming event announcements, I wanted to take a moment to recognize Alex Costa, which is, unfortunately, he's not here yet. So, oh, is he here? Hey, there you are. I just want to recognize Alex Costa. Alex is someone who is deeply engaged with our community and pays close attention to what's happening around him. His proactive nature and willingness to take action when it's truly needed truly exemplify the spirit of community involvement. And we at the BMIA and most folks, we're all excited to see what the future has in store for Alex. So I am thrilled to invite you, first of all, to our watch party, which just got scheduled at the BMIA building for the British TV show, The United States of Birmingham. So this is Tuesday, April 22nd, 7 p.m. at the BMIA building, which is 40 Arbutus Street. In Browns Mills. The show highlights our town and features several of our residents who were filmed by a team from England last summer. It's a comedy filled with British wit, and we can't wait to see it. So hopefully everybody will come out for that. Don't forget our annual AMPed event, Art, Music, Poetry, and Dance, where we celebrate the incredible talent in Pemberton Township. If you'd like to participate, please reach out to Tony Mealy at 609-744-9938. We also have our paint party with the talented Debbie King coming up, and tickets are just $30. This price includes everything you need to create your masterpiece. The last day to purchase tickets will be April 27th at the AMPed event at the BMI building. So please note that tickets will not be sold at the door. So be sure to buy your ticket before the April 27th date. I'm super excited about our yard sale and picnic event at the BMA on May 25th from 2 to 4 p.m. We encourage you to bring items you no longer need. Weather permitting, we'll have tables outside. Otherwise, we will move inside. We'll also have picnic food and drinks available, and we're just a short walk from the beach. I'd like to remind everybody about the Clean Communities event on April 26th at 8 a.m. at the Browns Mills Fire Department on Trenton Road. We haven't had much luck with weather, but hopefully we will this time. This is a township-sponsored event, and we participate because as part of our initiative at the BMIA, we engage in service projects around town. Clean Communities provides the trash cans and grabbers to help us collect litter. It's a great opportunity to beautify our community, and after some hard work, we'll enjoy some delicious pizza and good company. Don't forget about the Water Carnival, scheduled for July 12th. An update on that, we are currently signing up boats with floats, and it's looking really good for our boat parade this year. We have quite a few interested parties, but just know that BMIA is still going to win the grand prize. Believe that. Now, looking ahead, we also have our 50 sock hop on June 6th at 7 p.m. and our graduation luncheon on June 22nd. If you're a member of the BMIA and you have a family member who's graduating from preschool, 8th grade, or high school, please bring them to the luncheon party, but be sure to let us know in advance so we can have the gift ready. And you can reach out directly to me by emailing me at bmiaorg@gmail.com, or you can text me at 609-388-1305. As we approach the summer, I wanted to let you know that BMIA will be off for the summer, but we will be coming back with a bang on September 5th at 7 p.m. with our open mic night. And then on September 28th, we'll be hosting our annual Red Cross blood drive starting at 9 a.m. We do need 35 committed donors to make this happen, so I encourage everyone to sign up. Donor sign-up sheets are available at every event, and I even have them here tonight. If you'd like to slip me a note to let me know you're interested in donating blood, I can write you down. We'll also have breakfast food at the blood drive. I just want to circle back to Alex. Everybody can please give Alex a round of applause for being so vigilant with watching social media and keeping us all informed and taping the events here. Thank you for all being here, and I hope to see you at all our events. Have a wonderful night.
I can trust you guys got the good news in the email I sent you. You get it, Ed? That article? You're not Oh man, Dan, you weren't joking. You really do have a flip phone. Oh man. Good evening, council. My name is Alexander Costa. I live at 2950 Route 70. I just handed you guys the section of the law of our form of government, and I only handed you one piece because our form of government's kind of big, and I only have so much paper and ink at home. So I just wanted to give you guys the acting mayor statute, and I just wanted to read a small little excerpt from the paper, which will go beautifully with what I handed you. And you can find this in the latest Pine Barrens Tribune paper on page 11, the third column in. It reads, "The newspaper later obtained a memorandum through an Open Public Records Act request with the signed by Tompkins and dated March 31st. It says, quote, I will be out of the office starting April 3rd, 2025 and returning on May 5th, 2025, he wrote. I am designating Thomas McNaughton, Director of Public Works, as acting mayor pursuant to NJS 40A-69A-42, which is the law that I handed you. But, he added, Mr. McNaughton is not authorized to sign any documents pertaining to selling or leasing township property, any documents pertaining to new hire or termination of employees, or any documents pertaining to the 2025 budget. What I've handed you is the law, again, like I've reiterated twice, and I highlighted a section in the law, which I will read to you. I just want to read the one sentence from there, which I've highlighted for all of you, so we all are on the same page. And it says, during such time, the person so designated by the mayor shall possess all rights, powers, and duties of mayor. The mayor has no authority to restrict an acting mayor's duty or powers. So I believe that the mayor has, in effect, violated our form of government based on this law right here. So if I were any of you guys, I would ask the question, should we ignore the memorandum that the mayor has handed out to all of you, or do we follow it till he comes back? If I were in your position, I would ignore it. And I've also now understood that our acting mayor is on vacation, which now we don't have a head of government, which is kind of scary because if you, and this is just a broader picture, if you look at the federal level, they have the 25th Amendment. If Trump has to go on a medical procedure, the vice president takes command. Well, if the vice president has to have a procedure and the president has to take a procedure, it then goes to the speaker. You're the speaker. Well, the president, but same thing. All right, so I believe that, Mr. Ward, you should be the acting mayor, and this is my opinion, but it also could be justified in the law too. So I do think you should be the acting mayor, so you really should be sitting over there for. All right, so with that, that piece is done. Now I just wanted to go on to the resolutions. Resolution 131, 2025. Who are we refunding the $800 to? And then Resolution 132, 2025. How much are we going to be covering for the cost of the indemnification agreement between the County of Burlington for National Night Out?
The police pay for that.
Oh,
out
it
of their
is?
budget, and
Okay.
it's something that's done every
All right,
year.
do we know how much that comes out of their budget?
I don't know.
Uh,
I mean, they have vendors there, they have everything's free. They usually have fireworks. It got rained out last year, so it's
All right.
probably a chunk.
133, 2025, cancels water utility appropriation balances. What are the balances for that specific account? Like how much was on the account or not in the account?
It's not a lot,
About like,
but it's money left over from last year that now will go into general funds.
okay,
Yeah. And from 131, 2025, those are smaller refunds that added up for like different people that put deposits down for different events and events were canceled.
okay, thank you. 138, 2025, How much are we awarding to the Environmental Resolutions Company?
$8,500.
Okay, is that also the same for 139/2025?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 140/2025, I just saw the post. Oh. I saw the post on Facebook, and, they detailed it was $220,000 that the county got, and every town is getting like $5,000. I would say yes to that. 141/2025, I would definitely consider a yes for that. I think that the playground should have the proper rocks or whatever they need to keep the playground looking good. 142/2025, I definitely would agree yes for that because, and this is just a little backstory. My mom and dad were foster parents for over 10 years, so we have a very good knowledge of what legacy and their treatment services are. So I definitely think that 142/2025 should be a yes. Ordinance number 6, as you can see, I wrote a big yes with 3 exclamation points. I definitely believe that we should pass ordinance number 6. And finally, I just have a question about the legal notices. What is the status of getting the Pine Barrens Tribune legal notices? And I understand that all of the legal notices for meetings go out in January, like the 1st or 2nd, to the papers to be published, unless there's a special meeting that comes up. But what about ordinances, adopted ordinances? Will we be publishing those in the Tribune for people to see and read?
Usually, the reorganization meeting, the township adopts or appoints official newspapers.
Right. Well, Dan, back in, was it February you had made the motion to add the Tribune? Yeah, Dan made the motion.
Okay.
All right, I was just wondering, because he hasn't gotten any legal notices yet from the township.
2 of the papers stopped doing, everything's digital. There wasn't any home deliveries.
Okay. Do we, by chance, know if the Tribune will get any legal notices?
It goes to, the Burlington Town Times. It's only one paper that.
Could you speak in the mic, please?
Sorry. It's only one paper that the legal notices go to, which is usually the Burlington County Times. When it's a special meeting or something like that, that is required to be published in more than one paper, then it will go to the Pine Barrens Tribune.
Okay.
Okay?
What is your name?
Sunshine Deschelle, I'm the
Oh.
deputy clerk.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a nice Easter.
Thank you,
And,
Alex.
If you don't celebrate Easter, any of the other holidays, have a good one.
Marie Reynolds, Rising Road, Browns Mills. Alex said that was the end of it, but I don't know what the end of it is. So who's the Secretary of State here? How does that procedure work? Like, who's next? Who's next in line? I don't know, really.
It's, Maria, I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, you're just not going to take it, but. is
Yeah,
it
you
you?
know, no, it's, I don't know. I mean, I've studied 40A for close to 2 years now. You know what I mean? And the mayor is allowed to, Jerry will probably be able to tell you better than I can, but the mayor is allowed to appoint a department head as an acting mayor when he's gone.
Right.
You know, but other than that, you know,
law
I don't
doesn't
think
go
we
any
have like a
further?
check and balance.
It doesn't, the law doesn't go any further than that?
I'm sorry.
The law doesn't go any further than appointing
No, it
an
doesn't go any
acting
further.
mayor?
No, it does not. The council, I mean, if the mayor is, I think, 8 weeks is vacant, the council has the right to appoint someone on a
Okay.
temporary basis.
Right, okay. Oh. So, we're a ship unsailed, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if I had a law degree, I'd go all the way to the Supreme Court. I even asked Jerry if he wanted to go to the Supreme Court within the state of New Jersey. That'd be an interesting one, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Well, Josh, with him out of the country, we won't have any lawsuits for at least 30 days. And
Mrs. Reynolds, to answer what you had questioned as well, honestly, my opinion, I would have thought that one of the biggest things we could have done in this 30 days was we could have gotten some interviews conducted for quality business administrators, and we could have gotten one appointed. However, the only problem is, by the time we do the interviews, by the time we have the authorizations here in 2 readings to hire him, we go beyond the 30 days, he'll be back and shoot it down anyway. So unfortunately, it'd just be like pouring gasoline and spinning our wheels and getting nowhere. Thank you, though, ma'am.
Hi,
Mrs. Guthrie?
Pat Guthrie, 317 Birmingham Road. I just had 2 things I wanted to ask about tonight. One is, I thought we were going to have a police officer here, and there's no police officer to protect my council members. Due to some certain threats that I understand were on Facebook towards the council, I think you guys should have a police officer in here for each one of these council meetings.
We're not worried.
Yeah, I think he's.
I know you're not. I dare anyone to mess with you. But I do think that you guys should be protected.
Well, we appreciate it, Mrs. Guthrie. I could say for sure that the messages that I got from administration and the police department today, that situation was dealt with and handled in a sufficient manner, so, already, I believe.
So I think we need to make sure you guys are taken care of. The other issue that I have is $127,638 is a lot for parks and playground. Is that for like multiple parks and playgrounds? And hopefully, things that they can fix and repair on their own isn't just kind of being replaced. I just think that we need to start cutting, seeing where we can cut in the budget to cover some of these lawsuits, and so the taxpayers don't have to have a hit where their tax bills go up.
On that playground, Ms. Guthrie, that's, they're taking out mulch from, that was previously there. It's a new playground over at Mirror Lake, and they're putting in a rubberized surface. Our guys are gonna do part of it, putting the stone down and stuff like that to save some money. And then the company that does the rubberized surface will come in and do theirs. And it was part of last year's budget, so that's.
$127,000? That's
The
an
other,
awful lot
the
of
other
money.
price we
Was
saw
180,
was
right?
180,
Yeah.
185, something like that. So there was 2 companies that do it, and they were the prices.
And then ordinance where there's one for introduction, number 7, 2025. Y'all know how I feel about GCLI. I think it's a made-up zoning place. If you put in GCLI and Google it, the only place that has GCLI is Pemberton Township. There should not be a GCLI in any part of our zoning. And to group agricultural into GCLI sounds ultimately ridiculous. What farmer's going to want to be next to a light industrial? I don't care if it's light industrial or a warehouse or a chemical company. You just don't put that next to a farm where crops are being grown. So I honestly think this should be nixed. I don't know if you guys had the chance to talk to our AG committee and consult with, like, Mr. Giberson. Yeah. Yep.
This ordinance is being considered as a result of our professional planner looking into it. The agreement between, the original agreement between the warehouse people and the Kramer people is now void. That's not going to happen. The Kramer people have been negotiating with the state of New Jersey about deeds restricting the property in perpetuity as a farmland. This allows that property to be a permitted use in the future, which is what the state is looking for in order to finalize their agreement with Kramer's.
Why are they incorporating it with GCLI? Because if you look on the zoning map for Pemberton, it's actually listed as AG, the Kramer Farms Agricultural. There's no GCLI listed on the Kramer Farms. So it's kind of like incorporating agricultural
No.
zoning into GCLI.
One half of the property is
Is
in
in the
GCLI.
One piece of her property
Yeah,
is
one of it
across
is-
the street in GCLI,
Yeah.
Mrs. Guthrie.
So why don't they just remove the GCLI from it and just make it the actual
that-
agricultural zoning?
That's a longer step that has to come with the master plan.
And what is our status on the master plan? Anything? I know it's been being talked about for 2
The
years.
planning board put together a subcommittee at their last meeting. I believe Mr. Dewey's part of it. You want to speak about that, Mr. Dewey?
I have really nothing to say
They-
because there hasn't been any meeting called yet that I'm aware of.
I mean, it seems like people, they're like dragging their feet, so is there a way to have that expedited? We've been waiting years.
Board is overwhelmed with new projects going on, and we meet twice a month now, but we formed a committee at the last meeting to get the ball rolling with the master plan.
Okay, well, hopefully that ball actually does start rolling. Thank you very much.
They're ready.
Good evening. Clubhouse Road. Follow-up to the last meeting about the ordinance that was excluding family-owned homes. I was referred to community development. And they informed me that they are working on a modification to the ordinance so that it will exclude family-owned homes that family members live in. Right now, the ordinance does not give an exception for that. So they say they are working on that. I guess it will come before you. But up until that point happens, there is no exception. So I don't know how that's going to follow through on your code enforcement, because when I called them, they did say there was no exception. In fact, when I went there to talk to them, they just gave me all the forms needed for a rental. So just as a note, I can see all of a sudden I'll be up here complaining because I received violation notices. I mean, that's been a family-owned home for 35 years now, and family members have lived in it. They don't rent it. So just that follow-up. By the way, when I did call them, I did get a call back within the hour with that information.
Okay, good.
They didn't know anything about it when I first called, whoever answered the phone. But whoever they spoke to did know that they are working on that modification. Two other things, get through this. You'll probably remember this one. Browns Mills Strategic Revitalization and Development Study. It was done a number of years ago.
Yeah, I know it.
Out of curiosity, are these things being followed, looked at at all as you move into the future? Or, you know, they're one and done and it's over? I mean, is someone following up on this or looking at it or trying to do anything about some of these items that are in that development plan? I'm just curious because they put this all out and I'm sure it costs money to put this together.
What's the date on that, sir?
You know, it was interesting. I looked. It was under the previous mayor's administration.
I think it was around 2014.
If I remember correctly, sir, to follow through on that, there was a great deal of number of properties more to be purchased by the township with your tax dollars to
Yep.
get that to go through?
Yep. And I saw a lot of that, and the question was, of course, we put another plan together because it's not the first one. We pay for it, and unfortunately, most of what was in here, of course, didn't happen. So it's more of a question that we're talking about trying to save money. So, and in line with that, I was doing one of those dives into the yesteryear. We have a population increase of 0.5% since the year 2000, according to the Census Bureau. 0.5%. So when we're looking at trying to come up and develop some sort of a plan, we're also looking at numbers that have gone down since the year 2000. And historically, the year 2000, from 1990, we dropped 8.5% population. 2010, we dropped another 2.7%. 2020, we dropped 3.6%. In 2023, that's where that 0.5% increase came from over that period of time. But historically, from 1970, when I first bought a house here, until today, we're up 36% in population from that time period. I think, and I don't know who in the administration does this, but looking at the census data and getting a demographic overview of who lives here and where we are financially, I think it has to inform some of the decisions that are being made and what your view of the township is going into the future. Because I don't know what we're trying to put together here. Is it going to look like a Medford, a Cherry Hill, a New Egypt? I haven't, when I looked at this, of course, I brought it up, and I'm thinking that was the town center that they proposed under a rendering here. And I don't see that for this township. And the last, I mean, I mentioned this before, the traffic in the township, specifically Browns Mills. We have a triangle, and we have corners of the triangle are stoplights. We go across that dam and we have another stoplight. The traffic we have now creates problems. Moving into the future, we talk about developing downtown. Well, I'm not sure how much downtown can be developed when you have really a constrained traffic flow going through that area. So I put that out there for consideration that, you know, we look at where we've been and where we are and the money we've spent and the mayor that we have. I'm not sure, and I don't have the answers. It just sort of, I was thinking about it and I'm looking at it and I realize you gentlemen have to start making some decisions down the road, but we're all running into tax increases. And yet we don't have an increase in population that would justify that. And when you look at development, I mean, I've looked at how Presidential Lakes has developed, Country Lakes has developed, and a number of other developments. I mean, we have increased over that period of time, 36%. So those are comments not meant to be any sort of criticism. It's something to, I'm concerned that, all right, where are we going to spend this money? How are we going to obtain the money? and be able to fund what needs to be funded for essential services. Thank you.
Mr. Fallon, you
Yeah.
bring up a lot of good questions, and I know you didn't want, there weren't responses, they were statements. I agree with almost 90% of what you said there. Absolutely. It's funny, when you look at census from 1970 all the way to today in the township, some of the things you got to remember when you look at those, that'll skew it. And I talk with our professional planner about this a lot. And anybody up here that's been here for a while will understand, but in regards to population, you had everybody from after Vietnam that got out. The population of Fort Dix increased tremendously at that point in time, right? As well as Pemberton Township and Pemberton Borough and the surrounding areas, North Hanover. And then you brought up another date, 2000, right? And you get to there, and if I'll show the timeline, and you see the population, it actually goes down from 1970, right? 1980s kept going down, kept going down, kept going. 90s popped up a little bit. 2000, all of a sudden, the base closed up.
Yes.
Right? And then a couple years after that, into the 2010s and teens, the on-base housing changed from military housing only, right? And they started letting in, GS-12s, GS-11s, the prison guards, the post office employees were eligible for those properties. And the one big thing that I ask all the time, and from day one that I got in here, was I wish the military would work with our township and open up Juliustown Road again, at least the base side of that housing. Because what's funny is, right, and you see it in census-wise, everybody that lives in what was called Crescent Heights, which I'm sure still is there, right, is in Pemberton Township zip code. So guess what? When they count census, they're our population, but they do nothing for our township. So it gives us a false security of an increase there, but it really isn't an increase. So that's the problem you have there. And the issues that I would love to work with the base on, if we had that opportunity up here as council members to work with the base directly and get them to work on an agreement to potentially open up that side of the base again, to allow those folks to spend some money in our township and get us some of that taxable income to our residents in our community here. I think that's one of the big problems. I love talking about these problems. The other one was, the redevelopment plan that you had there. I got a book I used to bring in, probably about this big, has all the redevelopment plans in the township. Last year, I think me and Danny were up here, we were so mad, because last year at one point in time, we spent, what was it, Danny, $25,000 on an artist rendering for the same spot that we never saw. $25,000. Yeah, that makes me angry as a community member. I mow my grass, I water my lawn, I shovel my sidewalks.
Yep.
And for what? For $25,000 that we spent for what? It doesn't make any sense. Now, some of that stuff is done by grants through the Complete Streets program that was going on that I'd love to get the township back involved with, and the Sustainable NJ program that I'd love to get the township back involved with, because they do throw out grant money. The state does throw out grant money to do stuff like that. But how about the one for the old juvenile detention center that we paid money for? How about the redevelopment plans and drawings and renderings that we did for Burlington County College, which we didn't even own? How about, I mean, I can go on and on. There's several of those redevelopment plans that were done by countless different engineering firms, CME, ARH, that sort of thing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. No matter what administration it was, past or present, spent a lot of money on it for no reason, because nobody had an idea. And what's funny is, and people like Dr. Thomas and Mrs. Reynolds and everybody else that's been here, every time I talk with them, they agree. We're not a town with a town center. We're a town with 7 town centers. And if you don't really understand that that's the problem and how to address that problem and work from the outside in, then you're never going to get to downtown Browns Mills, which you're right, is just a triangle. And maybe, and it's, I'm being conservative here, maybe a half mile around the triangle, right, of the actual downtown that needs to be looked at and redeveloped. But we need to work from the outside in this town, because all the other town centers in this town, Birmingham, Presidential Lakes, Country Lakes, Blueberry Manor, Rato Village, Lake Valley, Magnolia Road, they're all town centers in their own accord. We're 67 square miles. So, when we talk about Pat Guthrie brought up the master plan, we're already behind, sir, by 2 years on the master plan. And every time we sit there and delay and delay and delay on it, or get a proposition like we did last year for a complete redesign of the master plan, that we didn't need to spend money on an entire master plan. Right? We only needed to do a revision. Would have probably only costed about 30% of that. And council is, we sit here and say, hey, we know this stuff, and no, that's not true, or no, that doesn't make sense, or you guys don't know what you're talking about. We do our homework, and we're right there with you. You bring up very, very valid points, and that's all we want to do, is get there. And we're trying our hardest to get there. We have very, very good people in place with Rosemary Flaherty in Community Development, and Mark Remsa as our professional planner, and Dave Banish as the planning board's planner, and a very good planning board that I think can get that done. We brought in the Business and Economic Development Committee that we just got finally done after so much pushback from administration. It's going to be making some really good moves. We got $1.5 million in UEZ money. Then, we would love to come to administration and say, hey, what can we use this money on for the township to make it better? It's just, we run into a brick wall, sir. So those questions need to be asked to administration, is when is administration ready and going to be working with council? And we're here, we're ready to move. And there's other funds, like with the housing funds, another $1.5 million for low to moderate income housing that can be ready to be given out. We're signing the deals and getting the books done for those folks to get their money. So we still don't have a budget for 2025. Here we are going 4 months into it, almost into the middle of second quarter. And DCA says we're supposed to have the budget by the end of March.
We have a crippled government.
I agree.
We're crippled.
Broke.
And unfortunately, I mentioned the last time I was up here, I think we really need to move forward with a change of government.
I agree with that as well.
I mean, this shows the dysfunction that can happen when someone of not goodwill is sitting at the top, making decisions. And this is so apparent at this point that I think you all moving ahead with that and getting it at least on the ballot, at this point, I think you'd have a lot of people voting for a change, because this is disgusting. For all of us.
Josh, can I add something?
Sure, Councilman Dewey.
Joe, as you know, being here as long as you have been, this was a great town. And what destroyed Pemberton Township and Wrightstown was the base. Devastated us. I think we came out a little bit better than Wrightstown, because, they really took a big blow for their location. So we had that. A lot of people lost their jobs at the base. Then back in 2013 and 14, when you had a change of guard here, this is when they started their shenanigans as far as changing. It's why we're losing farms today. There's a lot of bad people involved in this. Until we get this master plan done and get a lot of the things straightened out, we're still going to be hurting. Because you just can't imagine what's coming down the pipeline from way before we were elected. And, when the base was open, I sound like a broken record. There was 2 bakeries here, 2 car dealerships. You had a couple hundred GIs running around the town, the cleaners, the bars, the restaurants, and it's all gone. And trying to rebuild it, there's just a lot of hurdles that we're trying to get over, We're in the process of losing the Greenberg farm, which should never, never happen. Bobolink, it's not a bad development, but I don't know, what's been going on, 18 years?
Yeah, so probably somewhere around there.
You know, it's crazy, the things that, and things that we're finding. And it's gonna take us a while to get things straightened out, you know?
I agree with Danny, and on that note, you're right, a ratables chase is not the answer. A smart growth plan is the answer. That's what we need.
The difficulty with, excuse me, the difficulty with all of the development, of course, is what we've been talking about, is traffic flow through the town. I mean,
Wagon train roads,
you're looking at a real
no
constraint
infrastructure.
and no place to expand that road to. So, yeah, when I look at it, and the other thing that struck out, and I'll just leave that with you, according to the census report, we've got a total number of 10,090 households in the township. We have 10,802 housing units. I didn't go back to find out what we started out with in 2000 or going back to 1970. You can look west of us and see what's coming our way. And I will tell you, I don't like it. I mean, you go down 38 South Pemberton Road, and it's starting to become a canyon. And I don't think we as residents here are looking for that in this township. That's not what we moved here for. And I'm not sure it would generate a whole lot of excitement for some people to move into that kind of environment. And I don't know that we can develop our way out of some of these problems. Making good, smart decisions and keeping the goal in mind and the ball up in front of us is, I think, maybe a way to go. I wish, come up here and give you all the answers. No, I can look at it and see where, like everybody else, there's the problem. What do we do about it? So, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Joe, we gotta work together and take our town back,
Yes, indeed.
and we gotta do it as a group.
Okay. We just got to do a mic change real quick. Hang on one second, everybody.
Mark Thomas, thank you for that. Mark Thomas, 35 Northwoods Road in one of the nodes of the township, New Lisbon. And I deeply appreciated the understanding of the township as a set of nodes, because this is basically the structure, the infrastructure of the township. And it's where we begin now to look at what do we want this to look, how do we want our township to look 50 years from now? And I mean, that's crazy, but that's what we want to look at. And to be honest, the college property has retained its integrity since 1799. It still bears the mark of the county freeholders who bought that 430-acre piece. And so in looking forward and looking at that, I mean, in some ways, that's a nucleus too. But I want to thank you all for what you're doing, because the sense of agency and attentiveness to residents solving problems has really turned things. And I think there's a smaller population here today, but I think the goodwill that you have already generated is salutary. I mean, this will raise up the level, and you will find that there is goodwill, and we will support you. Now, one thing that Mr. Fallon, correct, brought up in terms of the 7 nodes and the master plan, what occurred to me is that if you were to solicit input to constitute a citizen's input to the master plan, sort of focusing on the nodes and inviting people in the areas to and Birmingham is the perfect example of one of these activated and now is really self-identified and interested in the future. To solicit some kind of an organization of nodes, solicit community input as we proceed from here, I think we would find that you will be much better supported if there's that active solicitation on the community level. But again, thank you.
You're welcome, Dr. Thomas. And, as you go and sit down, you get, it's exactly right. And to understand that New Lisbon still has a post office. Birmingham still has a small little post office. I mean, that's the way, it was just a collection of communities, put all into Pemberton Township, and then some additional developments outside of that. Almost in fact, Pemberton Borough became its own little community within a much bigger township. It's one of only, 7 different, I think, true donut hole towns in the entire state of New Jersey. If I'm hoping that with some of the things that the planner and the planning board are looking at, I think we'll get a lot more involvement when we get to that step. There's some good people behind that want that to happen, Mark, where people from every individual community will be a part of that, for sure. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samrina Ellie. So first I want to say thank you for fixing the roof, for tarring, at least the back half of it. The back half of the roof got tarred. It's a little late for it, but I'm happy for it. The other thing is I want to say thank you for the lights as well, because the parking lot was definitely dark. That too is a little late, but at least it's lit up. They did break into my circuit breaker to put it there because nobody was there for them to, we didn't know what was going on. I found out through Facebook that they were on the roof, but I guess they broke into my circuit breaker to add the lights to our electric. I'm not going to complain about that. I'm just glad that it's lit up. The one thing I do want to ask you guys is, so last time I came up here and talked about it, about the whole idea of the tenants having first dibs on the new building that they were going to build there. I thought it was just a thing that they talked about, but apparently there was a whole meeting that they had in the township building. Who do I talk to find out when that happened and what they talked about?
Are you saying there was a recent meeting?
No, this was, I don't know exactly when it was, but I talked to a couple other tenants, and apparently, because I wasn't involved with the laundromat at that point. So I'm finding out that there was an actual meeting in the township building that they talked about this whole renting of the new building.
Well, it hasn't happened this year, so I couldn't tell you.
But who would I talk to find out about it?
Offhand, I'd say that if you had a rough date, the township
help a
clerk
little
could go
bit.
back and look. Did it happen at a council meeting, or was it a separate meeting?
I think it was a separate meeting altogether.
I would still think maybe the township clerk might have some knowledge. Without her
I would-
being here tonight, I don't know.
I should try and get like a roundabout date of when it happened.
I was just going to say, Ms. Ellie, do you have any contacts of any of those previous business owners that could have possibly been here that could give you better
Yeah, I
dates
have
or
a cou-
times?
I have a couple. That's where I got
That's,
this
I would start,
information from.
try to narrow down that date.
Okay.
The area of the date, and then maybe with the clerk's assistance, you might be able to get some information, maybe have enough to be able to Oprah request something.
Okay.
If it was a township meeting, I'm sure there was probably, minutes taken.
And perhaps also, if those people know who on behalf of the township was at that meeting, just more information will. try to,
Okay, all right, yep, thank you.
Anybody else for public comment this evening? No, I was going to say, all right.
Good evening, everybody in general. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Ah.
Good evening.
Okay, I didn't hear no answer or anything. I said, no, wait a minute, they shut it off too? One of my questions where I will have, I know that you will answer me to the end. When I've been noticed in the past 2 meetings, 3 meetings, when our mayor was not present, we didn't have security. But when our mayor was here in the building, was an officer in there outside. Now, what I'm going to reply beside that, seemed to me the only reason you had security in there by the door because the mayor was sitting there. But we don't mean anything. We're the residents. And you guys in here, the council, we need to be protected. We do not know, with everything that's going on right now, we do not know where it can, we can come in here and who knows what is in here. And for that, it's 1 or 2 hours. We taxpayer, we pay that officer sitting in there. And I, myself, as an 80-year-old lady, to me, with all the meetings I've been attending and everything and what has taken place, should be an officer, the police department right there. He can walk through the hall. And he's standing up there. Gotta go to the bathroom is right there. Okay. Now, my next thing what I'm going to refer is in reference to our present mayor. I'm going to ask back, when he is going, I know that he's entitled to go on his vacation, doesn't matter where he goes. He has the right. But he has a title and a commitment to the residents to assign somebody and give his tools for that person to act. Not like a Mickey Mouse man in there, he's sitting in there and he cannot do nothing. He cannot even open his mouth. Otherwise, you go and play the fifth. To me, that's not a temporary mayor. When you give a position to a person as a state worker, guess what? You go and give me my tools. I recall when I was in the fire department. Something were missing and that we didn't do the job. They said, well, you didn't do the job right. Guess what? You didn't give me the tools. What do you want me to do? When you hand me the tools, then I perform the duties. And it's the same thing what this mayor is doing right now. He assigned us somebody, and to me, the administration should be approach him and say, no, wait a minute, we got to have a meeting before you leave, and you got to leave somebody in charge in case of emergency. He's not only 2 miles, 4 miles down the road. He's thousands of miles from here. That means we are paying the price. It's not right for the residents in the community. And I thank you, all of you there. You're doing your best. I know that. Okay, well, let me see. I want to speak in reference to the empty houses. I know several empty houses have been for years and years empty there. It's nothing has been done. The ground, the grass haven't been cut, nothing have been cleaned or anything. Code enforcement go by up and down the hill, go to this house, go to the other house. Now it's cold, I just drive around, okay? And I check everything what is going on in the neighborhood. I've been seeing lately a lot of police in my development. I don't know what is going on it. The longer they don't come and bother me, okay? But I observe, and I had the right to ask. Okay, now I'm going to touch in reference to the Sycamore Hall. Is any update in there? Anybody knows anything? The place is sold or something? Now, my next one, I'm going to touch Mr. Alice Laundromat. I know that my time is up, but I have a few minutes. Okay, in reference to the laundromat from Mr. Alice, where they been done for him. And now what I notice, the township has lot sales, a strip, I call it strips. There is people who live next to those strips, but they never were notified to them. They like to purchase those strips. Maybe $1,000, $2,000. You cannot do nothing with a little strip there. And they even approach me. They never been notified. It's not fair for them because they like to have, in those strips, you know what the people do? You go there, the neighborhood garbage is there. The people, the guy live across the street, the other one live across the street, the other one live in the corner. They bring their garbage in there. I used to have an empty lot next to me, and I be honest with you. I advise and I observe. When I see anybody coming, throw garbage, guess what? I know your house number. You don't like the garbage in your house? You put it somewhere where it belongs. Never saw garbage there. Okay. I touched that in those lots. Okay, now I'm going to get back with the Burlington County College. I call it the Burlington County College. When I came in here in '79, was Burlington County College. I know that you guys don't have no update because I attend the commissioner's meeting and they don't have nothing. It's too early for them to tell them. I stated to them, I don't want to see houses. The only thing they can put, they don't sell, because if they purchase that with the Green Acres money, I recall when in Presidential Lake, when they offered us the park, a pavilion. We don't want a pavilion, we want a clubhouse. Well, guess what? We got to return the money to Green Acre because we could not touch it. Okay? And I leave it there, and I just hope that I get something with the signs and cleaning the communities and everything. Thank you.
Ms. Phillips, on your signs on Spring Lake Boulevard, the head of the road department said they will be putting some signs out there on the wooded section. That's not going to guarantee people don't dump trash, but they're going to make and put up 6 or 7 signs out there on that
The
section.
turkey is still there.
I just received a text from Ms. Flaherty, who's the CD director. She said, call her tomorrow with the properties.
Okay?
Okay?
I can drive it down the road and find it out, but they don't give you the lot number. How do I suppose, I know
Just
they
need
got
the
it.
Why don't you
address.
call her tomorrow and work it out?
In America, you did a beautiful job on the entrance to PL coming off 70. I saw it today. Very nice with the decorations. Okay.
Mr. President, if I may also,
Councilman Doyle?
Ms. Phillips, as far as our lack of police presence tonight, I wasn't here physically at the meeting last week, but I was watching it on YouTube as well as, on the phone and dialed in for the meeting. One thing wasn't present at the last meeting and it's not present here tonight is hostility. and one thing is absent from last meeting and is also absent tonight. Maybe that's the only person concerned about their own public safety. And maybe with his absence, it's a little more peaceful here. I know I'm not threatened by you people, and I don't feel that any of you are threatened by the five of us. As far as I'm concerned, the last couple of meetings have been nothing but peaceful, polite, and getting forward with business the way it should be. Maybe we don't always have the answers because that seat's absent over there, but maybe the one thing we don't need tonight is the one thing that you and I know nothing better about than anybody else. We can certainly use our police officers on the streets where we need them more than here babysitting us.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Foreman.
Good evening, Mrs. Foreman.
Hello. Okay. Okay, I have a lot of questions, some of them which were not answered the last time. So I'm going to say them really fast if I can. If somebody wants to try to answer them for me in 5 minutes, let's see what we can do here. Okay. First thing, I want to make a statement. The last time I came here, the park was great. This time I'm coming here to tell you, it was a nightmare. And I'm going to say publicly so everybody hears, better be careful when you go to Pemberton Township Park. 'Cause it's very dangerous. I'm going to say that. Now, in saying that, I would like to make a comment. 5 or 6, I can't remember how many, but 5 or 6 police cars showed up at the park. And I mean, I might be wrong. It feels like they were there in 60 seconds, 2 minutes at the most. I don't know. Maybe I'm off. But I appreciate their help that day, just saying that. Okay. Okay. I want to make a comment. At the last meeting, there was a man here from DIFAS, and they were talking about Nicole Pittman's case. And I want to let you all know, and everybody in here should know, and the employees in this town should all know, even a resident, even me or anybody in this room, if you know that a minor is being abused or even suspected abuse, you have a legal obligation to report that to DIFAS, not just the police department. And if the mother says, no, I don't want to report this, or no, you have to report that whether the mother of that child wants it reported or not. It's a legal obligation. It's a new rule. I found out about a few years ago. Even the average citizen has to report that suspicion of abuse. And I feel like that poor man from DIFAS that day, I don't know if his name was Bob, if he was trying to make his point, but it just seemed to not get a straight answer. Anyway, then I want to say that I asked this at the last meeting, that the 5 warehouses were going to go to a planning board. You said that at one meeting. At the last meeting, you said it's in litigation. I want to know why you said at first it was going to the planning board. But meanwhile, that's a question. That's one. That's 2. Okay. Can you subpoena employees to be here if they refuse? I asked that last time, but you said we don't need them here or something like that, or if they want to come, they can come. But what if they do refuse? Can you subpoena them? That's one thing. When you're talking about this situation, the last time I was here, I asked about the maps. Did everybody get the maps about that UEZ plan? And that included, I believe, there was a plan for UEZ. And you know what I'm talking about? Do you? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, when we did the new plan for the UEZ zones and we cut down the size of it,
Yeah, and then-
the mapping was not clear.
Right, thank you. Exactly. I want to know if you guys saw the maps yet, if you can bring the maps for the public to see, so we don't have to open them and wait 10 days for them. I don't see why we went through this meeting for public talk, and we can't really talk on it because we don't have the proper map to see. I will open it if I have to. It's on my list of things to do. And as far as the master plan goes, when I was here years ago with Rick Reagan, and he had meetings every section of this town to go over this master plan, I believe, and the development. And so everybody came and was able to give their comments, and I'm hoping we get that chance again today for this future master plan. I'll be honest with you, I don't trust Rick Reagan at all. Just going to say, I would like to know if you can give us an update on what you meet with him every Wednesday on. You said numerous plans of development, and I just kind of want to know what plans of development you're talking about. Let me just say this real quick. Okay, you're authorizing Mark Remza to undertake all planning requirements in order to rezone certain properties. Is that the UEZ that we were talking about, that you talked about, Harry, tonight? And also, why do we have to wait to get this information till after you vote on this tonight? Why can't we have this information ahead of time? I know you guys probably get it in your package, but we're sitting here and we don't know what you're really talking about. Okay, let me just see if I can wrap it up in 1 minute. On this map, they're on the Pine Barrens, they're talking about how resident Michelle Foreman wanted to know about all these lawsuits. Will the insurance start increasing our insurance rates? I didn't get a straight answer on that. And they said they can't because of litigation. And to truth of the matter, it's a general question. If we keep having all these lawsuits, is that joint insurance fund going to start increasing, or are we going to face other, even worse repercussions? Thank you. That's my questions. Does anybody have any
Mr. President,
straight answers
can I
for
try
me
starting
tonight?
with the 5 warehouses because I know Jerry did an excellent job on it, but some of the words he uses might not be able to be understood by everybody, so maybe I can try my version if Jerry has to correct me. Would you do that, Mr. Dasty? Of course, go right ahead. All right, so Michelle, I'm
thank you. Yeah.
somewhat familiar with these 5 warehouses. So what happened was they made a potential purchase on the property, okay? And then they drew up the plan for the 5 warehouses. That was submitted to the planning board. The planning board went over it for a year or so, if not more, and went back to them and said, you can do this if you can get a right-of-way off of Birmingham Road into your development. Basically, there's one house that the planning board felt was too close that they were not purchasing, that the driveway going in there was going to be too close to that residence. So basically, what the first warehouse was offering to do was break off the corner chunk of their property and let Pemberton 2 with the 5 warehouses come across the corner of their property with an entrance to access the 5 warehouses. The planning board says, if you can get the township's permission to do this, then you can build. Prior to the 3 of us taking office, it was only the 2, Danny and Josh, on the board. Previous council drafted up an ordinance, and it was presented to council, hey, do we want to allow them to do this? At that time, there was so much public comment against it that the public believes that they are the ones who persuaded council to not allow this to happen. What would happen was, in essence, what they were going to do was allow the warehouse property to be a dual use. They have a warehouse on it, right? But they were also going to allow a driveway into the second portion where the 5 warehouses were going to be, so that would be considered that one lot as a dual use. They would have had a warehouse there, but also a driveway, which is technically not allowed on one lot. But they were going to draft an ordinance to allow that to happen. The council voted it down.
Right.
So because they voted it down,
Yeah.
the planning board said, okay, that was a condition. You had to have that for us to say yes. So it didn't go through.
Right.
The warehouse company, we'll just call it that, didn't like the decision, so they filed a lawsuit against the town for their decision. It was read over, reviewed by a judge. A judge made a decision in favor of the township, saying, yes, they support the decision that was made.
Oh, really?
So it was shot down. The warehouse company, Pemberton 2, did not like that judge's decision, so now they are appealing it to another judge. Am I right so far, Mr. Dusty?
Almost.
Okay.
You took me farther than I knew. So thank you for that. You did a
Stand by
very
for
good
my
explanation.
corrections, though. Stand
That's
by for my
okay.
corrections.
Are you finished, though, or did you want to finish what you were saying?
That's where we're at right now, because you had said, Mr. Dasty had said that they were going to the planning board. What the judge said was, if they want to build,
Okay.
since they didn't get the permission for that roadway going in, that it was Mr. Dasty's suggestion for them to come up with a whole new plan for their property with a roadway coming in off of South Pemberton Road, along the existing warehouse on the Southampton side, into their development. So what he was saying was, in essence, if you guys want to do this, go back to the planning board, meaning basically start all over again with a new project.
Oh, so right now it's back to the planning board again, or it's in the
It is
second
not,
judge?
it is
It's
still
in the
going to the second judge right now.
Gotcha. Okay, that was very, very good explanation, Mr. Doyle.
That was pretty close.
Yeah.
At the trial level, the judge on the trial level.
The
when-
first trial level, you mean?
First time.
Okay.
I'm at the first time. The judge, let me get this straight. The judge denied the warehouse lawsuit. The judge said the planning board just did what they were supposed to do. That was, after the judge was asked to reconsider her decision, which she did. And she reconsidered her decision and therefore approved the warehouses, subject to, so at this point, the warehouses have been approved if they can meet those conditions. One of the conditions is that the township would have to approve this right-of-way, which they haven't done. So our position, that decision from the trial judge has been appealed by everybody, and now it's in the appellate division. And our position with the appellate division is essentially what Perry just said: they can't meet the condition. Therefore, the approval that the trial judge said was okay can never be met. They got to go back to the planning board and see if the planning board will remove the condition, because at this point, the approval with that condition won't stand. That's our position.
So the new judge is asking them to go back to the planning board again, yes or no? It's real simple, yes. The new judge, they're not saying anything yet,
The
right?
new judge?
Yes.
We're asking the judge to send it back.
You guys are asking them to send it back to the planning board?
Yeah.
We're asking the judge to side with us
Yeah.
and tell them to go back to the planning board with a new revision on their plan.
We're saying to the judges, the appellate division, this is no
Who's
longer.
we? Who's we, you? Are you representing
The township, and I think and I want to
Well,
talk.
I mean, why don't you just tell the new judge that, hey, we voted no and we stand by that? That
We
way
have.
it would end these 5 warehouses.
We've-
Why can't you just do that? I'm just asking.
We did, we have.
The
That's
second
our-
one, you're telling them that, we voted no, let's leave it at that. No, you can't do that?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Just tell the new judge, why bring it back to the planning board? We already said no. Why let them go back to the planning board? Can that be stopped? Why should you let it go back to the planning board?
The trial judge approved the application.
You mean the second judge?
No, here we go. No, the trial judge, the original judge changed her mind. She reversed herself, and she approved the application for the warehouses, subject to the right-of-way.
Okay, I feel like I'm getting a little bit lost here, and I can hear the audience is even getting frustrated, which you asked them to be quiet when people are sharing. I just want to remind you, I'm trying to get this straight, and it's okay. I'll have to come back to you on this one, because to me, it's just not making sense. You said it's going to a second judge.
Let's make sure we're clear before we move on. So.
Thank you.
I'm trying to displace the play on words. The first judge, the trial judge, said, no, I support the township in their decision to not grant the right-of-way.
Right.
Okay? They went back to her and said they'd like her to reconsider. So she did reconsider. And she said, okay, you can build it as long as you can still meet the requirement of the ordinance for a right-of-way, which this council, the previous council, already said no to.
Right.
So the bottom line is, they cannot meet that requirement. So now, as Mr. Dasty was saying, their recommendation was, take your application back to the planning board and
Who's
see if.
their recommendation? Who's their recommendation? Who you talk, who's they? Their recommendation, who's they? Their recommendation,
The
who's
judge,
they?
the judge is saying that they can take their application back to the planning board and see if the planning board is willing to lift that portion that they need a right-of-way to be able to build.
Left it, okay. I don't see why they should be allowed to go back. Who's representing the township in this? You? Okay. It's still not making sense, but I'll be back again next time after I think about it and watch this on video to try and talk to people privately, right? So I can understand this, because to me, I don't see why,
Well, legally, Michelle, we have to let them, if they want to go back to the planning board with a new plan, we have to let them. You can't stop them from coming back to try to make a new plan.
that makes a little sense. I'll think about that too.
Okay.
Okay. Any other answers to other questions?
The UEZ maps are on the website.
I understand that, but not everybody, I'm just wondering. did you
Michelle,
guys all see the
Michelle, I'll
UEZ?
bring copies of the maps for you at the next meeting.
How about, did you all see the maps?
Yeah.
You all saw the maps now?
I did not look at them, but I heard they're on the website, yeah.
Okay, could you just tell me real quick the short version? Sure. If you saw the maps, what's different about the maps? Because from what I understood last time, they're just a little bigger.
That's what they
Is
have.
that
They
true?
made them clearer so you could read them now, so they make sense to you. So you can see the roads, you can see the sections of town. They're still going to be changed, though, once we get zoning changes. So there are going to be changes once we change the UEZ zoning.
And is that going to happen tonight at 1:43, 2025, with Mark Remza undertaking all planning requirements in order to rezone certain properties within the township?
No, that's separate.
Something different, okay. Okay.
And you also said that we didn't answer your question from last meeting if the insurance rates might go
Yeah,
up.
Yeah,
I don't remember not answering it, but the insurance companies are here to make money. They're not a benevolent organization. And the custom that I'm familiar with
yeah.
is they're going to get back a lot of the money they've spent on these lawsuits by increasing your premiums. Stay
There we
tuned.
go.
And
Okay.
Michelle, I'll answer a couple more of your questions here.
Okay.
The one about the subpoenaing of employees. Yes, council has the power to subpoena employees if they need them to be here at the council meetings.
Okay.
I think-
I kind of heard that, but
Yeah.
then Mr. Doyle said we won't have to do that because they'll probably come here anyway. But what if they refused? You can
Well, yeah,
subpoena, right?
absolutely, we have the
Just wanted
supreme
to
power.
make
If
sure.
somebody refused and council as a collective said, hey, we're not happy with that, we want you to be here, then I think we would definitely utilize those powers if need be, right? Okay,
Okay.
does that make sense, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay,
and
that's.
That makes sense. And so if you wanted a police officer here tonight, for whatever reason, you could have had one, correct?
Sure, yeah, we could have had one, I'm sure.
We could have
wanted one.
absolutely had one, I'm sure,
If you
as we
wanted.
had said before, that would never come down to, that wouldn't fall under subpoena. That would come under the grace of the police chief saying, if you guys are requesting one, I'll absolutely get one for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
Hold on, you got two more here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that I
Very
want,
good,
yeah,
Brad.
you did really good tonight. They're
Really?
really good questions, Michelle, but I was impressed. I don't speak with Rick Regan. I don't even know who Rick Regan is. So you brought his name up, and I don't know who he is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He was
Reagan.
probably the Mark Remza of our time back in
Okay.
the day.
Yes,
I'm
maybe.
thinking.
Well, engineering firm, ERI would be, sounds, right? Reagan Young, right, so that, okay. The master plan, okay, so they were engineers that did the master plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to clear that up, but I do meet with Mark Remsa, yes. He is the township's professional planner on the books for this year, yes. I do meet with him probably on a weekly basis or talk to him. The other one was about the master plan. And refresh my memory, what you said about
Yeah,
the master plan.
I just want to make sure the public has input.
Oh,
on that.
absolutely.
When it comes around.
Absolutely.
Can you give us a time and about when it's going to come around?
Oh, you'll know.
Because we don't want a last minute, hello, come on, give us comments, we're voting on it tonight.
No, you'll definitely know, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Michelle, before you go, you talked about a problem at the parks with the police, but you didn't, was it an animal-related problem, or was it?
And you say Pemberton Park, so which one are you talking about, Michelle?
I'll be honest with you, I'm going to plead the fifth on this one because I'm so terrified of this guy that
Understood. Okay, that's fine.
I'll be happy to talk to you and you.
Okay.
Let's do it off the record then, because when you say here in public, you were at a Pemberton Park, and, you want people to be a little more concerned if they're going to that park, maybe they don't understand which park you're talking about. That's why
Okay,
I was
I'll just
asking.
say the walking trail, that's one thing, and the Nesbit Park over here, to be careful.
Understood, thank
And there
you.
could be other ones as well, I'm just not,
Okay.
right now I'm a little shooken up by what happened.
Feel
the
free to
other day.
talk to us after.
Glad I'm still alive.
Michelle,
We are
to
too.
make you feel better,
Who said we are?
I said we are too.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe not everybody agrees, but go ahead, Harry.
that was me. Mr. Harper and myself, we are consulting with Mr. Dasty on the warehouses.
Oh,
They have,
you, Harry, and Dusty?
yeah, they've given me invaluable legal assistance.
Dan, did you?
Invaluable.
Never playing poker with you.
Okay, very good, thank you. Is that, did I answer your question? Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle.
Almost daily. Thank you. My legal advi-
Oh, okay. Gotta pay him, gotta pay him.
Anybody else for public comment this evening? No? Okay. Seeing none, we'll close out the public comment portion of the meeting, and we'll move on to the resolutions and meeting minutes, number 7, and consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the Township Council and will be enacted by one motion. Should a council member wish to discuss a consent agenda item separately, that item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Does anybody have any resolution number that they would like to pull?
Yeah, Mr. President, I'd like you to please pull 138, 139 for discussion.
Harry Harper, 138, 139. Okay.
We briefly talked about 141. I think I'd like to talk about that a little bit.
141, Dan Dewey.
143.
143, Dan Dewey. Okay.
That should be fine.
Okay. Anybody else? Good? Okay. Okay, so we just need a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
I will make the motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
I'll
Second.
second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes. Which moves us to resolution number 138, 2025. Mr. Harper, you got the floor.
Yes, 138 as well as 139, although I don't disagree with either of these, I just feel we should table them for now as we don't have a current 2025 budget to go off of.
Okay.
That was going to be my comment as well. Where's the money coming from?
And just so council understands and is aware, I agree wholeheartedly with the rest of my colleagues, and just so the community is aware and transparent. This past week, I asked the mayor, the acting mayor, for a copy, at least for a copy of the draft agenda, which has been completed for quite some time now. Draft budget, which has been completed for quite some time. Supposedly, which, no, it's confirmed, it's completed. And I can verify that. And the mayor was contacted, who was out of the country, and I was told as council president, absolutely not, I could not see it.
If I could
So-
add,
Just so everybody knows, and Harry's going to jump in here real quick, because just so everybody knows, this is your money. Council who represents you as a community wants to see a draft agenda that the DCA was specifically, draft budget, sorry. Thank you but the DCA specifically says by statute is supposed to be in front of council by the end of March. Okay?
yeah. Yeah, just,
And we cannot even allow to be, it's not even allowed to be seen is ridiculous. And at this point in time, asinine. I'm sorry.
So to be clear, Mr. President.
Yes.
You weren't asking the acting mayor to do anything that was restricted. You weren't asking him to make any decisions on the budget whatsoever. You were just asking for a copy.
100%.
Which would well be within his rights as the acting mayor.
100% correct, sir.
That's what I thought.
And it was confirmed with the CFO that salary ordinance was ready in October, budget was ready in December. So it's not like they're still working on it. They are ready. They're ready to be released to us, and the mayor's holding it up.
Yeah, and, to top it off, the mayor's in violation of a resolution that he had put on in a January meeting to extend the time to get the budget out to the state. And as Josh said, it was supposed to be introduced to us by no later than March 31st, and a date to be adopted by April 30th. So there's no way, since we have not seen it, that it will be adopted by April 30th. And this is a resolution that he put on the agenda back in January to give the administration more time, supposedly, even though they didn't need it. He's just in violation of his own resolutions. He can't be trusted. Yeah.
Can I make a motion to vote him out or get rid of him?
Didn't we do that last meeting? I don't know.
That's weird, every meeting. It's a standing agenda item.
Okay, so we could do this in one, if we want to bundle them together, 138 and 139. So we just need a motion to table resolutions 138 and 139.
I make a motion that we table 138, 2025, and 139, 2025.
Second?
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Councilman Dewey, 141, floor is yours.
Okay. I think there's a little bit of a conflict here with 143, 2025.
I thought
141
is what you're
Oh,
talking about, right? Isn't that what you want?
No, I said 143.
Yeah, you said
It is.
141 and 43, I thought.
Okay, all right, 41, so let me get that one.
Yeah.
141, which was the playground.
Playground.
Are we good with the playground?
Yeah, I just wanted to, now, these funds are supposed to be approved last year?
Yes, it's from last year's budget. That's what I was told, checking on it.
Who told you that?
Jennifer Deeds, acting head of Parks and Recreations.
Because, I didn't read anything on the resolution. And, with the only, I'm just looking out for the township, without a budget. When you get to the bill list, they're spending money like drunken sailors, and we don't have a budget. And I just wanted to make sure that this money was appropriated, and we have it, before we spend
So,
$127,000.
Danny, Harry and I sat in the staff meeting this past week, and Jennifer went through it in very great detail. I wish my notes were as good as the details she
Okay.
provided.
Okay, all right, well, I understand, Matt, but it wasn't passed on to me.
I got it, but
I'm going by what I'm reading up
fully
here.
transparent, there were two bids on this. The first bid was $180,000. The second was the one you see in the resolution. It was last year that it was done,
Right.
so it's not money that we're hoping we're gonna have in the budget this year. It's money that was already there.
And, when it comes to recreation, I'm not against it, but I know they ripped out Pole Bridge over a year ago, and I'm pretty sure that money was appropriated, and you still got a dirt hole there. And there's just as many kids over there than there is in Country Lakes.
I thought we got a grant.
We
done for-
approved a grant.
Right.
I don't think it's
But nothing.
transpired yet.
Yeah,
but-
it takes a while.
Yeah, but, this one, the playground is already there. They're just taking up the mulch and putting up rubberized padding,
Which is,
making it more handicap accessible.
which is 2 years ago, and it took them 2 years to build it.
Mr. President, if I may.
Councilman,
My thoughts on this were, like Mrs. Guthrie said, $127,000 is a lot of money. But Mrs. Guthrie, I also looked at it this way. It was appropriated last year, and my concern is this is something that's good for the residents, good for our kids, and let's spend it where it's supposed to be and not hold it up so that at some point we don't have to worry about putting it towards litigation or lawsuits. Let's spend it now while it's there.
I wasn't trying to hold it up, I just wanted to make sure we had the money.
No, absolutely.
With that, I make a motion to approve 141, 2025.
I'll second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. All right, next up, Danny, 143, 2025.
Okay, here we go. Being a member of the planning board, and we have a planner there, and I think that Mr. Renza is kind of stepping on some of the toes of the planning board of what he's involved in. Okay? I never voted for him. You know, Josh, and you know what I feel. He was the architect for Bordentown to Southampton for warehouses, the 206 warehouse deal. And 2 years ago, probably, when we were challenged with a 3-story warehouse, it was going to be refrigeration on 206. And immediately, Mr. Hornicle hired Mr. Rensman to come in and see what he could do. But he was the architect for it. So we ended up, we hired the Fox to watch the hen house. And I just think we got the wrong horse tied up to the cart. And that's just my personal feeling, and I'm against it. That's all I got to say. It's not right for the town. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't put it on there, so I mean,
No,
I
it's,
don't care.
well, it's the paperwork to get us to ordinance 7-2025. It's the work that had to be done to get us to there. Yeah. Jerry, it's related to the work that had to be done to draw up 7-2025.
Yes. This is a proposal from Mr. Remsa dated April 11th.
Right.
The upside would be no more than $3,000
Yep.
at $175 per hour. And it goes on from there.
Yeah, that stems from that little bit of work we did when we had that Zoom meeting, Jerry.
Yes,
For
that's
the
right.
Kramer Farm.
That's right.
So we just made sure that Mr. Remza, put in so we knew up front how much it was costing us.
Yeah.
And I guess Roe drew it up.
But this has to do then in conjunction with the ordinance which is on for first
Right,
reading.
7-2025, yeah. And if nobody else has a question, I'd make a
Well-
motion to,
I'd like to know what he did last month for $11,000.
is that on,
Look, let me
is
just-
that on the bill list?
It's going on the bill list,
Okay.
but
The reason, sir, that the resolution is on is because Mr. Remsa started doing some work on this property, and at the time, I was advised by Ms. Flaherty that he wasn't approved, so you need a resolution to approve him. And Mr. Remsa responded saying that he was directed to do this by the mayor,
Yeah.
which you need a resolution to do
yeah,
this.
it comes back under the same title, retaliation. I'm just, There's just more to it, Jerry, you know, and it's sickening the way that he does stuff. Mr. Banish does a good job. And he doesn't like Mr. Banish, so he's trying to push Banish out so he can bring Mr. Renza in, and it's not the right mix for our town. This is why we're in the position we're in.
I just think under the time restraint, and he was involved already, you know, he took the reins. He didn't step on Mr. Banish. Mr. Banish was involved. I was a part of that Zoom meeting and stuff, so, you know,
Whatever.
he's just putting in a bill to get paid and doing it transparently. That's,
So this is to go with the Crammer Farm only, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I will vote for that, so that goes through. Don't count on me for anything else.
That's what this is for the paperwork that he had to do to straighten out the crime reform.
You know, who wrote it, you know? It doesn't say anything on there. But let's do it.
I make a motion, we approve 143, 2025.
I'll
Second,
second that.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
yes,
Mr. Dewey?
Crammer Farm only.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. All righty, next up. Oh, no, we have to introduce, we have a last-minute resolution that we're looking to put on the agenda here. Resolution will be Resolution 144, 2025, if approved. Resolution of the Township Council, Township of Pemberton, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, authorizing issuance of requests for proposals for the position of litigation attorney.
For the planning board.
Right. Whereas the Planning Board Township of Pemberton, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey finds that there is a need for the appointment of a litigation attorney to represent the planning board in various matters. Everybody got a copy of it? So we just need a motion
Make a
to,
motion, 144, 20,
well, we got to add it first, Danny.
oh, add it to the agenda.
Second.
We'll explain it to you in just a second.
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
yes,
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
The planning board now is involved in certain litigation, including the developer for the 5 warehouses. They've filed suit against the town and the planning board. And Mr. Sisler, who is the planning board attorney, has indicated that he expects there might be more lawsuits coming down the road because of other actions of the planning board. But he is a sole practitioner, and he just says that he doesn't have the time or the backup to do this work, which gets involved. So the planning board needs to hire an attorney to represent the planning board on the litigation, which is, we have one now, and we expect, he expects there might be more. This authorizes simply for the planning board to ask for RFPs for potential attorneys to represent the planning board strictly on litigation, and then the planning board will interview those applicants and go from there. That's what this resolution is.
make a motion to approve 144, 2025.
Oh,
Second.
Whoever.
Mr. Harper?
Yes,
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Okay, next up on the agenda for this evening is ordinances for second reading, public hearing, and/or adoption. Ordinance number 6, 2025, an ordinance establishing salaries, compensation, and benefits within the Township of Pemberton. Anybody wishing to come up and be heard for public hearing on 6, 2025 at this point in time? Anybody? Okay, seeing none?
I make a motion, we approve 6-2025.
second,
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
oh, yes,
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Doyle?
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Council President, can I ask a question?
Sure, Councilman Dewey.
Is there any way that we can recoup the 4,000 that he already got?
He hasn't got that much. I checked.
Well, whatever it is.
Yeah. I
No,
think he-
no, because the mayor was paid per the salary which was in effect then.
Yeah, but
I think
see,
the
we changed
4,000
it.
is prorated, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had changed it to $1 a year last year.
No, last year they wrote the ordinance to go from 1 to 4,000 because he'd already reached 4,000. And when I did my math, I think he's got about 1,300 this year. So.
Overpaid.
Plus the 50,000 we forwarded him last meeting. And other expenses. but, yeah.
All righty. Ordinances, tonight, number 10 on the agenda, ordinance for introduction. Ordinance number 7, 2025, an ordinance of the Township of Pemberton, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 190, zoning section 190-24, GCLI General Commercial Light Industrial District to permit agriculture as a principal use. Just need it for introduction and the next meeting date. So it'll be an introduction for,
Well, you're going to have to go to the planning board, so I wouldn't doubt the
Right.
second reading won't be until May.
Probably.
Yeah, it would not be until May 21st.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 7-2025.
Wait a minute, it could go, I mean, the next planning board meeting's the 28th, so it could get back to us for the first meeting,
It could very well, yeah.
and we could always push it at that point. I'd like to make this go faster if we could,
You
if the,
also have to think about advertising.
Right.
You have to pay double for advertising.
Correct.
Advertise in the paper, you're going to have to send
okay, all right.
everybody within 200 feet.
I defer to the legal people, yes, okay, all right.
I would think, but
I-
I would let the clerk's office figure that out because they got to do all the notices, there's going to be hundreds of
Yeah,
letters.
Amy and I discussed it, it's approximately 900 notices. that have to
900
go
notices.
out. Yeah, so.
so we don't have to necessarily, May 20.
May
There's a lot of
21st.
stuff in there.
Okay, so May 20, so we need an introduction for May 21st.
I'll amend that.
Can I ask
and-
a question about this ordinance?
Sorry.
With the pushing for the GCLI, does that open the door if somebody wants to come in and start a pot farm?
No,
A pot farm? No? Okay.
The GCLI is already there. It's easier to add what we need to add than to take that out.
All right, sold.
Go ahead, Perry.
Make the motion to introduce ordinance number 7-2025 for second reading, the May 26th? 21st, I'm sorry, May 21st meeting.
Second?
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
yes. Okay, next up on the agenda is number 11, new business. Purchases over $3,000. Number 1 is the Recreation Department, 175 tons of 3/4-inch clean stone from Mirror Lake Beach Playground from Herman's in a total amount of $6,956.25.
Yeah, that's to go along with that playground project. Our people are taking out the mulch and putting in the stone before they lay down the rubberized coating.
Okay.
There were 2 bids for this, and this is the lower of the 2.
You know where the other bid came from, Matt, by chance?
Scores Trucking. Scores Trucking.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. They're both getting the stone from the same place. It's just a matter of a few dollars difference in hauling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Make a motion to approve new business
A1.
A1.
Second?
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up, B, annual renewals for used cars, Epic Auto Group.
I make a motion to approve.
Could I say something before that? Of all the car lots I've seen in the towns around us that are that size, that's got to be one of the cleanest. The cars are always perfectly straight, nothing's in disarray, there's no dirt, there's no trash. That is a very, very clean used car lot, and they should be proud. I'm happy to have that business here in town.
Yeah, I bought a truck from them a few years back. They were great to deal with. Can I speak now?
Please.
I make a motion to approve new business B1.
Second.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes,
Mr. Ward?
Yes. New business C, approves firefighter relief association applications for the Pemberton Township Fire Company for Ryan O. Mead. Questions, comments, concerns for council?
no questions. I mean, this guy has been in the fire company, just gets him eligible to belong to the Relief Association, which, when I was in the fire company, you had to do a certain percentage for 7 years, and he's obtained that. And they're just asking for our permission to approve them.
Cool.
Yeah. So, make a motion to approve C.
I'll second
New
that.
business.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
And on a side note, the fire chief did inform me that they did get 3 new members this week at the fire department, yeah, so volunteers.
Alrighty. Next up on the agenda is the approval by council required for payment of vouchers on bill list dated 4/10/2025. Any questions, comments, concerns for council?
I'd like to make a comment if I could, Mr. President.
Sure, Councilman Doyle.
In taking the time on my Sunday afternoon, reading down the bill list, I couldn't help but notice that we had to throw 3 more thousand to Mr. Dasty here for litigation, for lawsuits brought up against the township. And as far as I'm concerned, it just sickens me that this is $3,000 that Mr. Dasty could put towards things moving us forward instead of putting up the shield to protect us. Another $3,000 of taxpayers' money gone.
And then I have a question on page 21 of the bill list. I've noticed month after month mileage reimbursement for an employee. I can't mention names. But I don't understand. I mean, we have perfectly good township vehicles. Why that person's using their own personal vehicle. I'd like to hold off on paying for that amount this month until we get further explanations. I mean, it's an insurance liability for the town if the guy's driving around on company time in his own vehicle. And I don't know what kind of documentation's being done for these mileage reports, but I'd like to take them off until we get further information on those.
Yeah, Harry, I would agree with you, too. What was it, what were the numbers on that, just so we can record the, for the record?
Okay, it's 25-00893 and 25-00894.
Okay, perfect. All right. I would agree with Councilman Harper there. I'd like to see some documentation from the CFO on that as well, just to make sure everybody's kept on the up and up. So we would just need a motion to, unless, Danny, you got anything from the
Well,
bill list?
I submitted a voucher for $162 and it was denied.
Yeah, remember, yeah. Yeah.
With vouchers.
You know, so we would just need a motion for the bill list to be approved as amended without 25-893 and 25-894, that's all.
I make a motion to approve the bill list as amended, removing the 2 lines for mileage reimbursement on page 21. Those items are 25-00893 and 25-00894.
I'll second that.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. 7:53. Wow. We're not done yet. Well, no, we're not done yet. I know. We can have some fun at the end of the meeting. So do we have a solicitor's report this evening, Mr. Dasty?
I have about a half an hour. No, everything's going along well. We have a couple lawsuits that we're involved with. My two new in-house counsel, Mr. Harper and Mr. Dewey, have been helping me on negotiations on one of the developers' agreements that we're trying to soften up a bit, and we're getting there. And their legal acumen has been unbelievably terrible. But,
Just pay us, will you? When's payday?
Couldn't do it without you, Jerry, couldn't do it without you.
All righty. So is that all you got,
That's
sir?
all I have.
All righty.
Hey, Jerry, I do have a question. Do we have any new information on the pending lawsuits? Are any of them closing up, any other possible settlements, or?
I think since our last meeting, we were sued again by one other employee. I'm not sure that you got that since.
Yeah, according to the Pinelands Tribune, yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of settling or resolving them, that one is a year, at least a year or two away.
Yeah.
There's one other pending one that's probably will get addressed and perhaps resolved before the end of this year.
Okay, so nothing close to settling on any of them right now?
Yeah, nothing.
Okay, that's all I need.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up on is the mayor and/or business administrator's report. Same as last time? Okay. Perfect.
Very well.
I know I went from left to right last council meeting, then we'll go right to left. It only makes sense. Yeah, yeah. all right.
This is right.
But
You guys are on the list.
Councilman Dewey, you have any comments this evening for us?
I'd like to wish everybody a happy Easter and a safe holiday. May 2nd, we have Bill Spadia coming to K&P Farm on Vincenttown Road in Pemberton. It'll be May 2nd, start at 6. It's going to be food, a lot of entertainment, so if you get a chance, stop out. Thanks for coming out. I know there's a lot of projects we're working on, and I'm not the grumpy old man up here. You know, when I get teed off about something, I'm worrying about you. I'm here for the taxpayers, so I'm not a bad guy. And that's all I got.
All right, thank you. I got a few little notes here. Friday night out at White's Bogs, we had the flashlight Easter egg hunt for the teenage kids out there. It starts at 7:30 at night. Saturday morning, I have noted here 11 a.m., I believe that's correct, for the younger kids out there at White's Bogs Easter egg extravaganza. And then, next Tuesday is Earth Day, but on Saturday the 26th over at the train station, Dr. Mark Thomas will be over there from 10 to 2, giving some guided hikes along our paths over there. The Environmental Committee will have a table with some information about Earth Day and things we can do to, save our Earth. I noticed we got a report about recycling. And last year I heard Mr. Hornicle give the same report that sounded like doom and gloom. We basically came out 7th ranking in Burlington County for recycling out of 42 municipalities, and that's pretty good considering you're going up against Easham, Medford, Mount Laurel, Morristown. So I think we did a fairly good job. We saved the taxpayers, all you guys, about $190,000 in dumping fees at the landfill. So I think that was good, and I appreciate you guys all coming out. I can't end out without saying, I hope while the mayor's away on vacation, he comes back with a new frame of mind, where he considers doing things that are best for the town, like selling Mr. Ellie the emergency squad property. I guess he doesn't realize that, people might think a little less bad of him if he did something good for the town and the business people, But hopefully he'll reconsider stuff like that and come back with a whole new attitude. I won't say any more than that. Everybody enjoy this holiday weekend coming up. And if you're traveling anywhere, have safe travels, and we'll see you at the next meeting or at one of the events. I'll be at the flashlight Easter egg hunt helping out, and maybe the next day too, I'm not sure. But yeah, come on out. Thank you.
All righty. Councilman Doyle?
I don't really have anything to say other than it takes a lot of courage for you guys to come up here and ask some of the questions that you do, and I admire you for it because I was out there before I was up here. And questions like we said about Michelle tonight, very, very good questions. I mean, if you guys want an answer to something, just ask. And there's no such thing as a dumb question. There were things when I was sitting out there that I had questions about, but I was afraid to ask them up here. You're not going to hurt our feelings, and we're not going to give you false information. The worst thing we can say to you is, I don't know. And if we don't know, it's because we flat out don't know, but we'll get the answer for you. Maybe the person sitting next to you has the same question, but they're afraid to ask it, so please ask it. But the information that we're trying to give to you, if the information that's something that we're voting on and you don't understand it, we're doing our best to put the information out there to let you know exactly what it is we're voting on before we vote on it. I agree with you. When I was out there, some of these things, the comments, the ordinances, the resolutions, maybe they're a little vague. Actually, on the ordinances, you guys get an explanation of them, but the resolutions, you don't. A lot of the things on the bill list that we want to make sure you know where your money's going. That's why we're bringing them up. But please don't stop asking the questions, and don't let somebody else stop you from asking a question. Other than that, I appreciate the attendance again and the continued support, and all we can do is hope that we're doing the things that you guys elected us to do. If not, please let us know. That's what we want to know, more importantly, that we're doing the right thing. If we're doing something you don't like, you don't have to tell us up here. If you feel more comfortable telling me in the hallway, please do. I've got very thick skin. I can take it, and I'll fix it. Thank you.
Councilman Bianchetti?
Danny, you are grumpy. Harry, you're too positive. He's not going to come back with a change of frame of mind. Michelle, Marie, Marty, Pat, Mrs. Phillips, your passion for this community is commendable. That's what we need. That passion to really move us forward. And I thank you for that. I applaud you for that. We sit up here and we talk about the mayor a lot for good reason, and I think most of you are in agreement with us, with the words that we say. But we're not alone in this. I ask you, write your state representatives, write your assembly people, write your senators, write the governor's office about what's going on here. They could hear it from us all day. But if they start hearing it from the residents, and put some, a little more heat on him, maybe he'll do the right thing and step down. Because he's doing nothing but holding us back. Even thousands of miles away, he's holding us back. We can't have this anymore. Our hands are tied with a lot, and I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing it, and we're sick and tired of saying it, but our hands are tied. He holds the keys, and there's really not much we can do. So, please be patient. We're doing our best. And like Perry said, if we don't know something, we'll tell you we don't know. We're not going to BS you and make something up. We'll get the answers that you need. You might not like the answers when you get them, but we'll get you the right answer. Thank you for bearing with us. It's another record site, actually. And happy Easter for those of you that celebrate. Enjoy your weekend, and hopefully we'll see you around, not just at these meetings, but as Harry said, at some of the events we have coming up. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, and I guess I'm last here tonight, and I would just want to tell everybody have a happy Easter. And I forgot about Earth Day, Harry, so have a happy Earth Day if you, that's pretty cool. The 22nd at the BMIA building, I will be there, Marty. I'm looking forward to that watch party. And got some other things, hopefully we'll get together for that. Yeah, I don't say it because I was really, believe it or not, I was really sick that day. And that's not saying much. Yeah. Yeah, my elbow's in one spot. Yeah, my feet, I was just so congested that day, but it was a lot of fun. So I had a lot of fun doing that. Yes, I probably will be in it. We were the first Birmingham that, yeah, Joey actually came and visited here in the United States. And hopefully I'll be able to get the plaque that we got, and I'll bring it down to the BMIA building for that event. It was really cool to be a part of that. I wanted to shout out, because a lot of these folks work very, very hard. Anybody that was in the Water Department and Department of Public Works this week that helped to get the streets over in Rato Village, in my area of the town, paved up and finally capped off. Thank you very much. They did a very good job, and got some residents some relief when the residents needed relief at some point in time. So just wanted to make sure those folks don't go unnoticed. But they did a very good job of executing that job, and that's now recapped. As far as I wanted to mention some things that came up tonight as well. The UEZ map itself, if you need help finding it, but it is now an overlay. I wish I could bring it up here on the computer. Maybe next meeting, I'll tell everybody, I'll tell you what I'll do, is next meeting, I'll make sure that the TV is on as a computer, right? And I will actually take, if council will allow me, 5 minutes to do a presentation, 5 to 15 minutes before the meeting starts, to do a presentation for everybody on how to use that map. Does that sound good? Okay, cool, because it is very, very easy to utilize for like America with your stuff, when you talk about lots and blocks and things that don't have addresses, and if I can use it, my wife will tell you, I am not technologically savvy. I don't program my phone even. I wish I had a flip phone like Danny. I really do, believe me. But I'll make sure that this is, right. I'll make sure that this is up and running for next meeting. And before the meeting begins, I'll do like a 15-minute slideshow, like presentation on how to use the map online. Does that sound good to everybody? All right, perfect. So that'll take care of that and maybe answer some questions there. And we will have, just so everybody knows, when the mayor comes back, we will have council will have some additional work to do, because if we do ever get the budget, then we have to have some budget meetings, obviously. So that'll be additional meetings in sometime, I would assume now in June, which will delay the budget process even more. And then the mayor is supposed to actually do a budget introduction, if you recall, Danny, right? Without a business administrator here, I think council, and as council president, I expect the mayor to do a budget introduction to the community. And
He's going to do it?
he's going to have to. Right? Other than that, May 2nd at Bud's K&P Farm is going to be a pretty good event for the township. The folks out there, the owners, do a fantastic job. Come on out and sharing some refreshments and hang out with your neighbors. And trying to think if I forgot anything. I don't think I did, and I don't want to hold this up any longer. So if I did, I'll get it at the next round of meetings. But some new faces here that I don't normally see every meeting. Nice to see you. Sorry I don't get a chance to get out, but if anybody has anything for us, we're welcome to come up. And that should be all we need. I just need a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:08.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.